"You are a good man," the general murmured and closed his eyes. "You will be rewarded." When Sadao promised him that he would not tell anyone about the whole matter related to the prisoner of war, the general felt relieved, and he told him that he would be rewarded because he was a good man. But Sadao, searching the spot of black in the twilighted sea that night, had his reward. But that night only he got his reward. When he was trying to find the person in the island from his place, from the shore. There was no prick of light in the dusk, and in the dusk early morning, before daybreak also, there was no signal from the island of the flashlight. No one was on the island. That meant that there was nobody on the island. His prisoner was gone, safe, doubtless, for he had warned him to wait only for a Korean fishing boat. He had given all the instructions to him that he should take only the Korean fishing boat, and he was, he had no doubt that he was not able to escape. He was sure that he had escaped with the help of a Korean fishing boat, and he felt nice about it. He stood for a moment on the veranda, gazing out to the sea from whence the young man had come that other night. Now he was recalling the time when the young man had come to his house the other night, and into his mind, although without reason, there came other white faces he had known. When he was just thinking about how he was thrown by the sea onto his the premises of his house, he started remembering the other Americans also. The professor at whose house he had met Hannah, a dull man, and his wife had been a silly talkative woman. He was remembering all the people he had met in America, all the Americans, the professor where he and his house and his wife, and the house where he had met Hannah. In spite of her wish to be kind, the wife of the professor was trying to be kind, but Sadao found her to be very talkative and silly. He remembered his old teacher of anatomy, who had been so insistent on mercy with the knife. Mercy with the knife, with the help of knife, saving life. So he had always taught Sadao that how to use the knife to save people, and that influence could be seen when he saved the prisoner of war. And then he remembered the face of his fat and slatternly landlady. Slattern means untidy, so very unkempt looking landlady. He remembered her also. He had great difficulty in finding a place to live in America because he was a Japanese. The Americans were full of prejudice. They had hatred or dislike towards Japanese, so he had found great difficulty in finding a house. But that lady, though she was very untidy looking, but she gave her house on rent to him, and it had been bitter to live in it, knowing himself their superior. They were, Americans used to think that they were superior than other people, and other people used to, like Japanese, they used to think they were superior than them. How he had despised the ignorant and dirty old woman who had at last consented to house him in her miserable home. The house was also not very nice, but still he got the house, and at last that woman, though she was very untidy looking, dirty looking woman, but she consented. That means she said yes to give the house to him on rent. He had once tried to be grateful to her because she had in the last year nursed him through influenza. She had looked after him also when he was suffering with influenza. But it was difficult, for she was no less repulsive to him in her kindness. Now he remembered the youthful, haggard face of his prisoner, white and repulsive. Strange, he thought. I wonder why I could not kill him. So he was remembering everyone whom he had met in America, And as the flow of thoughts went on, he remembered the prisoner of war also, who had stayed with him, and he had operated upon him, saved his life. He remembered his haggard, weak looking face, and he remembered how he was all white. That means his face was so light in color, as well as repulsive because he always knew in his heart that he was an enemy. He was his enemy. He was the enemy of the country. But still, he was thinking that why he had saved his life. I wonder why I could not kill him. So children, now you think that why he could not kill him. What stopped him to leave him die? He could have, told the authorities about him. He could have left him there only without nursing him. But something in him made him do such thing. He saved his life. So what do you think that compelled him to save his life? According to me, first of all, humanity. Secondly, though he knew that he was their enemy, but as a surgeon, it was his job to save a life. He had learnt to save a life, and that too from the Americans. He has done his study of the surgery and medicines. Whatever he had learnt it in America with the help of all those white people. So there was that influence also in his heart about white people, and as well as his first job as a surgeon was to save a life than to murder anyone. So it was not that he was not patriotic, but it was that humanity won in this case.